I'll start. Well, maybe I made the wrong, maybe I made the wrong thing. Now, here how the 6.1, yeah, that's IP-Fire, which I mentioned. So the storage. Well, I have it already. My CD is empty. I'll wait to see what's going on. Audio, we don't care. Network, well, that's firewall. Okay, when it's firewall, you need at least 3 network chosen. As I show you here in the schema, we need 4. So I need all of these 4 chosen. So the first one is host-only adapter. I'm pretty sure now this is OpenSense. Why? Because if it was a pfSense, the first adapter will be my WAN. And in that case, the host-only adapter, I'm using it to access my LAN from my computer. Why? Host-only adapter doesn't provide you access to internet, but provides the person who stays on the laptop to access the network right away, even though it's on a different subnet. Why? Because it's here. When I click on this open network and internet settings, I go to Ethernet, change adapter options. Well, you're gonna see, here it is, VirtualBox host-only networking. If I open it in details, you see that's the major one, and maybe I have more. So all of these host adapters, I will be able from my laptop to access them right away, from the SSH, from RDP, using the browser and so on and so forth. So that's why I'm using it for LAN, where obviously I'm going to access the thing. Okay, so actually this LAN, as we mentioned, will be our management interface after this. Okay, for now we'll leave it like this. So network, we said this one is fine. Now this one, it says host-only adapter too. Well, now I'm a little bit not sure which is one. Most of the time I'm choosing here breached, meaning being breached or not network, or not. Being breached, not network or not, it will actually get an IP address. When it's breached, it will get an IP address from the outside, from our school network. Now, that's why I'm choosing breached all the time, because then me, from my laptop, I will be on the same network like the breach adapter, meaning I will play as an internet. Exactly what I want, right? My laptop will act as an internet. Why? Because it's in the same network as the breached adapter, which will be put it here. Okay? So the next one, I'll choose most of the time internal network. And remember how you connect internal networks. You just write down a number there. So I'm going to choose internal int1 for this one. And I need to allow the adapter 4 as well, this one. And I'm going to say internal again. But this time, I'm going to choose, and I'm going to write down 2. So that's how you create a separate adapter. Very easy. You just write it down something. I'll click OK. And I'll go and check again. When I click on the settings, I'll go network and I'll check. So this one is host only. That's fine. We'll see this one then. Adapter 2, bridge, fine. This one in 1 and this one in 2. Awesome. Let's click OK again. Now, to check the host-only adapters, you go File, and then the 6th one from the top is Host Network Manager. You click on it, and you see all the host-only networks here. So these are all the networks you could access from your laptop. All of them, they don't have access to internet, but you could access from your laptop. Okay? So you see some of them, they have DHCP server enabled. Some of them they don't. Okay? And most of them I created myself. How I created? I just click on the create button and it's created, right? And you see the IP version 4, which is there. You see this one is 192.168.56.1. This one is 126.1, and I have 101, 201, and 10.0.101 something, right? So number 2, actually number 3 is the one which I'm using, as you remember, for my host-only adapter. So when I'm going to access, it will have the access of, it will have an IP address of 192.168.101. So this guy here, actually the management interface, will have 192.168.101. Now I could enable the DHCP server, but if I don't enable it, the only thing which I need to be sure I have is me to be on the computer which I'm going to install eventually if I install something, me to do the same network. That's all. Let's enable the DHCP server. I'll click enable. And then you see on the right side you have DHCP tab, and I'm going to change it here. Well, it's already done. Server address, that's the server address. The adapter has one. Now, the DHCP server address, and these are the pools. So actually, I don't want to start from 3. I wanted to start from 200. And I wanted to finish to 250. Why? Because I'm going to assign statically my IP address to 254. So here how it looks. The adapter has an IP address of 192.168.101. The DHCP server which is inside will have an address of 192.168.102. It will give to all the interested parties, all the clients which will be hooked to it, addresses from the range of 192.168.100 to 250. And the server mask is 255.255.255.0 or 24-sided. And I'll click apply on all of this, and that's what is my host-only adapter network. For my internal network, I do whatever I want. I put, it doesn't have an IP address, I cannot access it from my computer, addresses which I want, I give. That's simple like this. So what we need to do basically is to change for our LAN, which will be this one, we said, we need to give another host-only adapter, and that would be this one. Number 200, number 4, 200. So I'm going to do enable on this one too. Here it is. It has, this one is a server. This one is the, well, that's the server address. That's the adapter address. Well, we do here the same 200 to 250. Apply. Close. And then I'm going to go and change in the settings. The last one here, which I chosen like int 2. Well, in that case, I'll choose the host only. And I would choose the number 4. Right? It was 3 and 4. Let me just confirm. I'll choose this one to be only the int net. Like this. Let's check again. File, host network, and that's number 4, and that's number 3. Awesome. Let's check again. This one is number 3, and this one is number 4. The last thing, the shared folder, we don't care. It's once again, it's not graphical interface. We don't care about shared folders. We click OK. Now we need to test it. Okay. I will click Start, and I would like to see if it's working properly. I'll wait until it starts. That's how it looks, the 6.1, right? And it's done. Here it is. For my one, I have DHCP, and it's taking 192.168.60.64. Yeah, that's, I'll let you know why. The DMZ, it is chosen my 4th one, which is 200, fine. I don't care. And for my LAN, it's using the 3rd one. So the DMZ and the LAN, these are the host only 4 and host only 3. And my one actually is taking it from the adapter of my Wi-Fi adapter. How I know this? Well, very easy. By the way, there is a very nice, as you see, guys, I see right away a very nice organized information about the interface I'm interested in, plus the, you know, all the interfaces and their state and some other stuff. Okay, so this is cool thing to know. You could use it like this. So as you see, my IP address here is 192.168.60.34. Okay, and basically that's why I see here 192.168.60.64 on my one interface, right? Because that's, I'm in the same network as my Wi-Fi adapter. If I would have been connected to my LAN adapter with a, you know, UTP cable, I would see something from the range of 75 most probably. It's 192.168.75 as far as I remember. So we're ready to go. About the power of the host-only adapter. So I'll open that's my real browser on my real machine, and I'll put the IP address. Let's just double check it. It's the LAN is 192.168.100.254, right? So I'll open the browser and I'll write down 192.168 100.254, and boop, I'll do root, put my password, and 22222. I'm there, right? Okay. So when I prove that my source computer is working fine, my template is working fine, what I need to do basically is to shut it down. I'll put the root user, I'll put my password, and then I'll choose the option 5, which says to shut down the appliance, right? And then I will confirm with Y that I want this to be shut down. It will be shut down. Now, as soon as it's shut down, I will create the snapshot, okay? And I mark some stuff on the snapshot. I'll put some notes there, so to know what's going on. And then I will create a clone. Here it is, it's shut down. Now I'll click here on the hamburger-like menu. They call it hamburger menu because it looks like a hamburger, right? So you click on this one, you click snapshots. Well, I have already a snapshot, okay? Now I could add here a new one. I'll click take, and what actually we'll do, I will say here that I have the DMZ and the I will say here it will create now the snapshot. Here it is. There is also another snapshot which I did in the beginning, which is called blah blah in Bulgarian, but you know, it's just for fun. You know, it's then what I'll do, I'll click again on the hamburger menu. I'll click details. I'll right click on the firewall and I'll clone it. I will create the clone. Now in the clone, it's very important to choose different name. I'm gonna call it OpenSense or FW. Let's call it FW1. We could use a couple of firewalls. Okay, firewall 1. Snapshots, I'm not gonna use anything because I'm gonna use link clone. And wherever I do, if I choose everything, I click link clone, you see it's getting back there. It doesn't care. And the other thing, what I'm gonna do will be to generate new MAC addresses for all network adapters. So I want my clone to have different MAC address. That's what I'm saying on all the adapters. So from the original one, so it will spoof all the addresses, MAC addresses. Now I could also, if I would have several disks, I could keep the name of the disks. So that's good. If you have some path which are accessing the disk, it will keep the paths the same, right? Because you're gonna keep the names the same. But I'm not gonna do this because I don't care at the moment. And I'm gonna do clone. Now I'll use the link clone because you're gonna see when I click clone, it will be done for less than a second, okay? Actually what it does, it's creating kind of snapshots and it's using just the difference actually. That's what it is. So I'll do clone. And here it is. And actually now I'm gonna move this one in the Clonnings. So I'm gonna take this one and I'll put it in the Clonnings. We need to check, guys, will be our server 2016. Here it is. I'll see what it is. I'll start it and I'll check how it reacts. You know, I mean, as I mentioned, it's very important, right? To testing the clone. So I'm gonna start my clone now. FW1 is my cloning. I'm gonna start it just to test if everything is working fine. Meaning if I'm gonna see the same information what I seen before. Okay, and as you see also my server is there. Well, obviously it has been shut down appropriately, so I'll just click cancel on this. Now that's a problem. You see, it shows here that my network card is not okay. It's actually off. If that's the case, I'm not gonna use this thing, because most probably something's wrong with it. So let's see what's going on here. Not attached. You see, there is no attached network. So what I need to do basically, and that's a good idea always to do if you need to change something on the virtual machine itself on the networking, you need to come here, right click, open networking sharing center. First you need to disable. Well, the adapter already is disabled obviously. I just need to check. Change adapter settings. Here is my adapter. It says unplug. Well, I need to disable it. Right click and I'll click disable. Okay, now when it's disabled, I will go. The other choice is to shut down the machine and do it. Okay, now when you disable the adapter, I would go here into machine settings, and I will go to network, and I'm going to attach the adapter now. And this adapter, since that would be in the network here, well, I'm not maybe using VirtualBox. If it's a VirtualBox, I would need to join it to one of the host-only adapters. But since it will be in the GNS3 most probably, doesn't matter. Wherever I choose, the GNS3 will convert the adapter, if you remember. It will use at the end the one which is called here generic driver. It will use for all the adapters anyways. So for now, I'm going to choose the host-only adapter. And I'm going to choose the fourth one, since the third one will be my management network. It will be LAN for now, but so technically at the moment this is what is on my DMZ. But then I'm going to change this. Okay, so I'll do it like that. I'll say OK, and I'm going to enable back the internet. The Ethernet adapter. I'm sorry. So I will enable it back. Yeah, it says cable unplugged. You know, that's not a good thing. I could shut down. So because there is a snapshot here, I could click on this hamburger menu, snapshot. You see how many snapshots there are. Okay, so I could go back somewhere before the link bus, maybe, here on the snapshot 2. Okay, and I could revert it. So I could click on restore. Okay, and I will do restore. Okay, and then I could start it. So basically, I'm gonna get to a state maybe where I'm gonna see my networking on. Okay, maybe, I'm not sure. Let's start it and let's see. I'm just demonstrating this. Maybe I'm not gonna use the machine anyways. I don't believe anymore, but I'm demonstrating this you guys to see if something gets wrong with your machine, how you could revert back with the snapshot. It's a good idea you to have it, because in that case you could spare some time. Instead of installing some stuff, you could just do what I did for less than a second, right? So let's see if it will repair the problem. Actually, it doesn't repair it. It just go to a state where there was no problem, hopefully. And it looks differently because apparently everything what I was doing after this is gone, right? It's getting to a previous stage. So if I open the web page, and if I try to navigate to, let's say, Google, let's see. Well, actually, the nicer way to do this apparently is to do the CMD, right? We do CMD. You do ping google.com, and here it is. I have Google ping by name. So the DNS working fine, everything's working fine, right? So so far so good. So far so good. So what we do next, because you see my license is expired. So the next step is me to do a sysprep. Before doing anything else, I need to do the sysprep. Okay. Now keep in mind that if I do the sysprep, actually, when I do the clone, the sysprep will be gone. So I could skip the sysprep for now. When I do the cloning, then I'm gonna do the sysprep. But I'm gonna be sure that all the other things on the server manager, which normally we do when we install the server installations, if you remember, are okay. So that's what I'm gonna check next. So when my server manager is there, I'll click local server and I'll check all the prerequisites, if you remember, they're there. I will check also when I drag like this, if my window will stretch out, which means the guest edition, that's at least the visual representation that the guest edition is there. I need to check also that my I could see my desktop of my real machine there. So clicking by file manager, it's supposed to be there if I already applied it. So if I come here, this PC, well, I don't see it. Here it is, desktop. So if I click on it, I'm supposed to see the desktop of my laptop. That's crucial thing, guys. You have it when you go to the machine settings, shared folders. It's a crucial thing because when we import this thing into GNS3, hopefully, when we import it inside, it will change the network adapter and the GNS3 will do something with it. But I still will have access to the desktop of the real machine. And I said, if we need to download something from internet while this is in GNS3, it will be very slow. So in that case, I could download it from my browser, from my real desktop, and afterwards I could just copy and paste it from the desktop to the virtual machine. That's why it's so crucial. And you cannot do it without the guest edition installed. And if you remember, the guest edition is here in the devices. Let me just close this thing. In the devices, and you insert the guest edition, you follow some steps, you reboot, and it's there. Okay? So here it is. It's perfect. Let's check now here. Well, it has a computer name, good one, source, fine. Firewalls is stopped. We set this. All the prerequisites are perfect. I have internet, all of the things in the server manager is done. Now, the license is expired, but with the sysprep, we're gonna try to do it, to revert it back to active for 180 days in every of the clones we're gonna produce out of this. I could change the screen and I could put this guy, but these are only, once I do all of this, I just be sure I'll click here, I'll do shutdown, I'll confirm. Once it's shut down, the same thing, I will create the new snapshot, and then I will clone it twice, because I need two servers, 1 and 2. So here it is, it's done. Click on the hamburger menu, snapshot. Yeah, you see the current state is changed. You see it's a little bit outside now. It's not in the range like it was, because if you remember, I snapshot this one. Okay, so I'll take a snapshot, and I'll say here some snapshots done, and then I could go back to the details, and I could right click here and I could clone the thing. So right click, I'll say clone. Now this one I'm gonna call it primary domain controller, PDC. Again, I'll click link clone. I'll change the MAC address, and I would clone it. I'll do clone now. And the cloning will be done almost immediately. I'll take it out and I'll put it here on the back. Actually, why these guys on? So my cloning of my firewall, it seems okay. I'll open and I'll check again. So I just gonna click on this. And if I see this again, that means my firewall, even though it's the cloning, it's working perfect, right? So I could shut it down actually from here. I'll click power off, say yes, and it's shutting down the firewall. And of course I could do again a cloning of this machine, Microsoft Server 2016, and I'll set the BDC, the backup domain controller. So BDC, I'll do link clone, and I'll change the MAC address again, and I'll clone the thing. And as soon as it's cloned, I just gonna move it out. And here's my clonings are here out. Now, what I need to do actually is to check both of them. So I'm gonna start both of them, and I'm gonna see if I'm gonna be ping Google, if I'm gonna see my real desktop stuff, which are very important after this. Let's see. So the Google's okay. I see my desktops integrated with my real machine's desktop integrated in the virtual machine. So what I need to do is on both to start on C drive, go Windows, go System 32. Here it is. Click again here some inside and find out sysprep. Here it is. And right click and start the sysprep as administrator. Well, it will start anyway, but just do it. So go here to C, Windows, Windows System 32, and we do sysprep again. Right click, start as admin. Now, if you remember, you choose, you accept everything, plus you click on generalize, okay? And you start the sysprep. And it will reboot a couple of times, and it will start kind of in the beginning of installation of the Windows again. And hopefully, the license will be revoked. CentOS 7 as well. We could check it while waiting. So I'll open my VirtualBox again. And I'll check the one which says CentOS 7 here. In my sources, here it is. It says Cent 7, most probably that's the one, okay? So I'll just start to check it. The same concept. I'll check it. If everything is okay, if I need to fix something, I'll fix it. If everything is okay, I'll do snapshot. I'll do a cloning. Then I will start the cloning, you know, check everything's working fine, and then I just wait. That's all. Okay, the same CentOS obviously has a graphical interface. It's starting. That's good. We need to check also if the web server is there, if it's active. Very easy command if you remember. Sudo systemctl status httpd, and it will show it to you if it's enabled and if it's started. If something's missing, we're going to install it. Easy like that. Well, important thing for CentOS 7 when it has a graphical interface is also the guest edition to be applied there, as well as you to have access from your desktop. I will show it to you because for the same reason you need it on the Windows server and the Windows 10 after this. Now, it's a little bit trickier there, but with, you know, we work on this and we be sure that we have it after this. Well, we might have it now. If you don't have it, I will show you the text files you need to follow. They are already in the folder. I will show it to you. On one of the machines, sysprep has been applied, and as you see, it's rebooting. Actually, it will reboot 2 times until it's completely applied. When you go to Tableau and you navigate to want to find out how to implement the guest edition in the document called guest edition. So that's the document, Z-Linux. You have also a shorter version into 01 text. You could do it here as well. It's a little bit shorter. It might not work right away though. I would prefer you guys doing the longer version. The other thing which is important here to know, I said core and txt. These are very useful commands for you guys to use for some remotely to access and some PowerShell commands. If you're working on a headless Windows server, www on Cisco router is how you guys could do on a normal Cisco router using the viral actually in GNS3, how to create HTTP server very easy without installing it on, let's say, on the like IIS or XAMPP on Windows, or like Apache or NGINX on CentOS 7, right? So that's another way. 01, 02, these are similar things as I mentioned. Here you have some, this one you don't need actually. This is the way you guys to check for free ports on Linux and how to check on Windows. So if you would like to do port forwarding, and you obviously need to use a port which is not taken, these are the commands you need to use in Windows. That's the command you need to use in Linux. So these are basically the text documents you have here. That's what you have. Here how it looks when the guest edition in CentOS is applied. You see it's stretched, as well as I will be able to access my real machine's desktop. When I enter it and I click Authenticate, I will be able to access from CentOS 7, I will be able to access the desktop of my real computer. This is because I have already, here it is. This is because I have already installed the guest edition, okay? And I applied here in the machine settings. I applied here in the share folders, obviously the desktop is a share folder, okay? As well as I could drag and drop stuff. You see I have a drag and drop here allowed. I cannot click on this at the moment, but you're gonna see, here it is. It's a little bit slow. I could click and I could do stuff here. You see bidirectional, bidirectional. I could drag and drop it. Let me just check the 2 other things. Right click and open the terminal. Ping Google by name. Here it is, it's pinging, no problem. And the last thing, as we said, sudo systemctl, and then status. We want to see the status of the HTTPD daemon. Let's see if our Apache is there. What do I see here? Oh, it's asking for a password. Okay, the Apache is inactive. So I could make it enable. I'm gonna repeat this, and instead I will say enable. Now, before this, if you remember, in some older version, you needed to do start and enable. Now with enable dash dash now, actually you do the both thing. So when I do like this, it will start the HTTP server and it will enable it. And if I do now, when it starts, if I repeat this status, again, hopefully I will see my web server on. Okay, so enable dash dash now is kind of cool trick, so you guys to do it with one command. So let's see. Now, as you see, it's active running and it's enabled. Okay, I could use curl. Actually, I could do curl. I think it's installed already, and I could say curl localhost to see what's about my internet page. And it says here test page sent. That's what I'm going to see. When I do curl command and I put the local host, it will show me if I would have a internet page. So I see how it's formatted, the web page actually. And you see it will show test page set. That's what I see. If I open actually my Firefox and I do localhost there, that's what I'm going to see. BDC and BDC at the back. Well, here is BDC is already done. As you see, it reminds a little bit the initial installation. I'll choose here our country. Okay, we do next. Very cool stuff. Here, I need to reset the password. No problem. I'll do finish. When I do it like this, whatever I see with the curl command, test page is saying here. Well, I see also the HTML code, right? But with this, so my web server now is on. It's proven. So what I'm gonna do, basically, I will shut down this guy, and I will do the snapshot, copy, and I'll check it afterwards. Yep. I shut it down the CentOS 7. Next thing I'll do is just to do a snapshot. So the same way, I'll call it, I don't know. Soon the snapshot is done. The ordinary way, as we know, here it is, it's just created the snapshot tree. I'll get back here, and I'll clone it. The same way, right click, do clone. I'll call it www, that's what it is. I'll say everything, link clone, and I'll change the MAC address, I'll do clone. And here it is, and I'll move it here in the group of the Clonnings. I'll move it here. And basically what I'll do now, we'll start it again, test it. So I'll test the cloning of CentOS 7, and actually I'm going to finish also, as you see, my windows are back. Let's test them too. That's what we aimed. Actually, we resetted the license, okay, for another 180 days. So I'll check also, guys, here if in the local server everything is fine. Again, here I'll change the color. That's optional once again. Just giving me a little bit more easy to work with environment. So let's check here. If here everything is fine, we don't need to do it on the other one. Okay, the name we need to change, and everything else seems okay. We just need to change the name, but that's fine. And as you see now, the product is activated. Okay, so I'm gonna change the name, and I will shut down the machines both. So this one will be my backup domain controller. Okay, I would need to shut down. Say okay. I'll say close, and I will say restart later, and I will shut it down because obviously I don't need to do anything else. Do shut it down to continue, and the same on the other one. If there is an internet and if the web server is on, all of these things just to confirm that my computer, well, as you see, the guest edition obviously is on. And okay, let's start the terminal and let's check. Well, the commands will be there because that's a cloning, right? So if I repeat, if I do curl with localhost, if everything is fine, I just proved that it is working. Control R Google, and I could ping Google right away, as you see. So basically, we just repeat the init 0 command, and we shut down our cloning. And this guy is done too. The last one in the Windows 10 is the Windows 10. What you're gonna use, guys, for this is when you go to the Tableau, this is the file you need to copy to your desktop if you don't have already Windows 10. Well, how you gonna use it? Very easy. You open the VirtualBox, you go File, and you do Import Appliance because it's already done. Okay, so you could choose here. You could find out the file. It's already in there. Here it is in Tableau. Well, it's supposed to be on your desktop. Otherwise, 20 people doing it remotely, it will be a kind of, I'm going to demonstrate it here, but you need to do it remotely, guys. Supposedly that's your desktop. You just click on this one, on the MS Edge Windows 10. You click open. It will prompt you for something. Well, it's asking me most probably. It's because it's remote. It will take a little bit time for reaction. So it says what is done already. You could change it afterwards. It's a good idea to generate new MAC address. Okay, you could change the name if you want and stuff like that. And you click import, and it will be imported within your. It will apply. It will be shown in your. I'm not going to do it because I already have it. So I will go to the sources and I will check it. Just let me move this guy actually below. I want everything to be well organized. And here I have Windows 10 here. Most probably that's what I did. Well, because I have it already, I will start it and I will check it as I check Windows Server and the firewall and the CentOS 7. On Windows 10, I'll do CMD just to check my Google. I'll shut it down, obviously, and I will clone it there. Well, I'll do first the snapshot and I will clone it. Let's check also if the guest edition is there. These are the checkups I'm doing, right? If I need to see my network settings, it's not network 2, that's fine. I'll ping Google. So from here, I'll ping Google. Yeah, it's have access. Let's open this one and let's see if here's the desktop. I'll see it. Awesome. Everything's done. What I need to do is just to shut down, make a snapshot, and then apparently to check I need to do the sysprep on my cloning, and I will be done, guys. I will be ready. Now, the Windows 10, we said now we're going to make a clone of it. Well, first we're going to do a snapshot. So we're going to say here on the snapshot as usual, all but updates. That will remind me that sometimes I need to do updates here. I'll say also guest edition. I could say that ping to Google. It looks pretty much what I need. I'll say OK. Snapshot's done. Details. Right click and do clone. And this one we're gonna call. We said we'll call it Jumpbox. So I'll just call it Gbox. Okay. Or maybe I'll call it Windows 10. No, it will be Gbox. The Jumpbox. And as you remember, it's a link clone. I'll do a new MAC address, and the cloning is there, guys. So what really remains to be done now, the only thing what I need to do now is basically to start and to test it again, the JBox, and I'm done, guys. I'm complete with my infrastructure preparation. The next stage will be to test my GNS3 to see everything is working well, and then to put all of these cloning appliances, which you see here at the bottom, to import them into GNS3 and to organize my infrastructure. That will be after the break, guys. I'll see you